Greetings and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you're not new here, well, welcome back. Today I really wanted to just take some time to address the allegations. Now, I made a video a little while ago about doing nothing and how it was fixing my life. And it got a lot of views, and it got a lot of comments. And there were some allegations that came out because of that video. And today, it's taken a lot. It's taken a lot for me to make this video, because I will be addressing some of the comments and some of the allegations surrounding that video. Now, this is hard. This is tough on me, so I would appreciate it if you could at least come at this with an open mind, because this is pretty serious. The first allegation, and this comes from somebody whose username is Forget About It 192. You didn't do nothing though. You ate 19 cheeseburgers yesterday. Now, while I am fat, I am out of shape. Unfortunately for me, I did not get the chance to eat 19 hamburgers yesterday. And it's rough. I wish that I would have eaten 19 cheeseburgers yesterday. I don't think that that's physically possible for me, as, you know, I feel like maybe 3, depends on the cheeseburgers, I guess. If it's like the really cheap McDonald's cheeseburgers, like used to be the $1 menu, it's now the $5 menu or whatever it is, maybe. I could probably eat 19 McChickens, but that's a whole separate story. That's not cheeseburgers. So unfortunately, I didn't do that one. Now, the next allegation is from Smack Dab Cola. Ayo, you got ADHD. Yeah, I do, actually. I was prescribed with some ADHD medicine a long time ago. It's been plaguing me my entire life. And yeah, no, I will admit to that allegation. I definitely have that one. Now, the next allegation, this one's real rough. This comes from John Hoskins' YouTube. Making YouTube videos isn't doing nothing. Now, I've brought this up to some commenters in the comment section, and what you did was you did nothing but watch the first 5 seconds of the video and then go comment, because quite literally the entire video was about how I was just taking time to just big chill. Which comes into the next allegation from Mary Rios, 65929, the philosophy of the lazy. Now, I don't understand how you really take that into consideration when the whole point was to be more productive through the day by taking some time to decompress in the morning and chill, so that you had a game plan going forward to, you know, do the rest of your day. So the philosophy of the lazy is, again, like the previous dude, to watch 5 seconds of a video and then run to the comment section to be negative. So that is, you know, that's pretty rough. Now, on to the next one. I think that's actually all of the goofy dumb comments that were in there. So if you made it 4.5 minutes through and you like that, by the way, subscribing is free. So I did actually want to talk about some of the comments on that video. Now, Naruto58 says, genuinely can't relax, but I'm happy that it works for you. Now, one of the problems that I had at the very beginning was that it was really hard for me to relax. It's genuinely rough for me to just sit down and chill sometimes. It's gotten a lot better because I've been doing it. But when you first start trying to just relax and do nothing, it is very jarring because it's taking you out of your comfort zone of doing things to distract yourself from everything. And so it is actually genuinely kind of rough when you start. But the thing is that you have to start and you have to overcome that. You have to overcome that issue, the uncomfortableness, right? So that is a really big thing. So let's see, what's the next non-goofy one? Oh wait, hold on. This one was real good. I actually really like this one from John the Gnarler. Damn it, literally watching this while showering. I've been reading books before bed has been a life changer for sleep for me. So I typically read like manga or something before bed. When I had all of my Berserk books that I was working through, I would read those before bed. I do need to get some more books, but I am a big fan of like manga and stuff like that. So that's usually what I read before bed. But it was really good to know that you were in the shower naked, most likely, watching me, which is weird, but hey, life's weird, right? So that one was pretty interesting. Actually got a kick out of that one. Now the next one, so this comes from Dor in Ino Bandito, Duder in Bandito. Okay, I'm really bad with YouTube names. I apologize. We as people have totally cooked our dopamine receptors. Absolutely. All these little things I used to think were innocuous and helping me drown out the distractions and focus better, like constantly listening to background music throughout the day. Now, see, I do that, but I also make my own lo-fi music, so I've been listening to my own lo-fi music. It does kind of help to have some background noise. But sometimes it doesn't, right? Like, it really depends on the person. Now, I like the lo-fi, just kind of ambient music. If I had on, like, stuff with lyrics, then I think I wouldn't be able to focus very well. But they go on to say, but I'm in my 40s now, and everything's so draining and exhausting anymore. Don't have energy anymore. Everything just feels so draining, and I don't know how to escape the constant stimulation. And I am in a corporate IT role. Brother, same. So if you haven't, depends on when you've watched this, but I also made a video talking about just stuff like that, about all the things you got to respond to, all the emails, everything like that. And it's worse because of the constant torrent of alerts and things to respond to. And I feel like I'm just losing grip on this life. I used to feel at least had kind of a footing, but at this point I feel like I'm just hanging on for dear life to get through each day. I just want to quit, take a sabbatical, but I can't. Not quite yet. I'm finally getting all my debts paid off this year, so I'm going to try and get a chunk of money saved so I can buy myself a brief period to breathe and try to find a different way to make a living that doesn't feel like it's slowly killing me. Now, trust me, dude, I completely understand. It's like my brother from another mother telling me my own life, because I am in the same situation. If I could just cook burgers for somebody, like I've mentioned in some videos before, my long-term goal is I just want to go to Japan and cook American burgers for Japanese people. That's just really what I want to do. Unfortunately, that's going to be set back a little bit, but I also, I've got this thing right here. But if I could do something that wasn't just sitting on life-destroying, soul-sucking meetings all day, every day, and answering emails to people who aren't going to read my email, and then I'm just going to have to reiterate myself 17 times, and then they're going to just willfully ignore me even after all that, I definitely would. And it's a long-term goal for me. So I definitely feel where you're coming from on this one, on that one. So let's see. The other side is that often we are running from ourselves. Our brain constantly producing thoughts, some of which are hurtful, negative towards ourselves. We hate ourselves, so we run from ourselves, keeping busy just to avoid such thoughts and emotions. It's also about learning how to deal with such emotions, how to learn to be comfortable in being uncomfortable. That's what I mentioned earlier. What helped me was Buddhist teachings where they believe joy cannot exist without suffering, same as left cannot be without right. But it's just about learning how to suffer. Letting things go, surrendering and letting out ourselves to suffer is hard, but when you realize that you can suffer, you will also realize that you can be happy. Now, that was from one P.P. Pete. And I agree with that. It's like one of the things that I mentioned was that you have to have the negative to really understand and feel the positive, right? If all you're doing is just overstimulating yourself on constant positivity, it's another thing that, I want to talk about is toxic positivity, is that you can't have negative. Never negative. Always positive. Always good, 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 good. Never look at the negative. If you don't see the dark, you can't appreciate the light, right? So you have to do the things you don't want to do, which is be uncomfortable, in order to be comfortable and appreciate it. It just is what it is. You appreciate the good when you understand that the bad is also there. So that's definitely something I agree with. Now, when it comes to the negative thoughts, that's a whole other can of worms. We're very negative to ourselves. And if you haven't watched my video on reducing negativity and in looking at positives, especially with yourself, focusing on the positives rather than the negatives, but not cutting the negatives out. Go watch that. And I would appreciate that. But that was a very good, solid comment. Now from ADV Dad 1129, a little over 10 years ago, I noticed that many people were keeping themselves very, very busy in an attempt to make themselves feel very important, aka hustle culture. Very busy equals very important. You got to be on that grind 24/8 or 25/8. Sorry. You can't be 24/7 because that's just some weak stuff. You got to be on that grind 25/8. And if you're on that 25/8, you might as well make it 26/9, right? But it's all just a lie, and it really just makes them very miserable. Trust me, I know when I didn't take time, I was quite literally miserable. Anyways, fast forward several years and a whole bunch of life, and I am now just aiming to do one thing a day. Oh, and I try to read a book more. Agreed. And I try to ride my motorcycle for relaxation. It helps focus my mind. See, I've never been somebody who is able to just ride. I don't know. I've always been somebody, I feel like I've got to go somewhere, but maybe I will just drive this year. Maybe I'll just get out and just drive somewhere and not have a goal, and we'll see what that goes. And I try to get out fishing a couple of times a week. It helps to let my mind wander. I've seen some people bring up fishing to me. Unfortunately, fishing for me kind of, me and my dad used to go fishing a lot. And when my dad passed, I didn't go fishing by myself. It was always just like a, hey, you want to go fishing type of thing? And we would go out on the boat or whatever. We would go fishing. So it was like a me and my dad thing. I was never a big fisherman myself. And so, when my dad passed, I haven't fished since. My mom was like, yo, you want his poles and everything? And I'm just like, nah, no, I didn't want the boat. I didn't really want the pools because I felt like, at least for myself, I'm still trying to get over the fact that I lost my dad 4 years ago, which is tough because it's like I lost my dad, then I lost my dog, one of my dogs, and it was just a hot mess for years, man. So maybe one day. But like I said, I was never really a big fisherman in the first place. But hey, if it works for you, fantastic. But one of my things is, we push so much hustle culture, dude. It's like hustle, hustle, hustle. If you ain't working 17 jobs to try to get that paper, bro, what are you even doing? Now, I will agree that it's not bad to have a side hustle, so that way, like me, me and the other dude we're talking about, you get your money and then you retire. But also at the same time, especially if you're like young, man, like if you're not out there getting experiences and all you're worried about is just getting paper and hustling and being busy because you think that's what's it takes to be important, like you're just really not. Why are your paws all wet? Did you just dip yourself in the water? Or no, that's water. That's not pee. Why are you all wet? But if you are hustle culturing all the time, like you're just doing yourself a disservice, man. Like, unless you're making millions of dollars, in which case, you know what, you got time to relax after you make that paper. But let's be real, most people pushing hustle culture, they ain't making millions. They're making less than probably just getting a second job at McDonald's or something. It is what it is. All right, so here's another one. This goes kind of like what we were talking about. This is from Mastermind Rational 1907. Something that's been pissing me off lately is the constant things we're expected to do: have regular mail, email, voicemail, phone notification, app updates, phone calls, texts. We're getting alarm fatigue and are task monkeys. It's a full-time job dealing with this crap that is constantly coming in at us through the day. People seem exhausted lately. I think it's because everyone's working two jobs, their regular job and their alarm job. I quite literally made a whole video about this comment, so go watch that one because I completely agree. And Mastermind Rational, thank you for doing that. Xavier 300K, this guy's doing nothing and he's manifesting his desired reality. Now, I got half of that done. I'm doing nothing and I'm trying to manifest it, but it's taking a little bit of time. We're working on it. We're working on the manifestation. So I appreciate it. The Borka says, it's strange how we work. If we don't experience the boring, sucky times, we don't enjoy the good times as much. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, you got to experience the bad to experience the good. Completely agree. And there's a picture of me and my dog. That was from a while ago. But I want to end off. Let me see if I got all the other ones. There was a really long one that I wanted to talk about, and I might expand on this one a bit further in another video. But this was kind of one of the ones that I was like, I want to respond to this comment. I even responded to them saying that I was going to talk about this in a video. But RRL9786 says, I like this video, but I disagree somewhat with your thesis. I don't think it's a dopamine issue. Our brains are extremely good at regulating dopamine under normal circumstances. Now, I would say, I don't know that we're in normal circumstances anymore, but I digress. People who have dopamine regulation issues can have issues like schizophrenia or psychosis, which is why the first-line treatment for those conditions are medications that antagonize, reduce the effectiveness of dopamine receptors. Now, one of the things for me is that I was told that, when I was put onto like ADHD medicine, antidepressants, was that, I had issues with my dopamine. I wasn't getting enough dopamine. That's why I was sad all the time. Although it didn't do anything. When I was on antidepressants, I was just bleh. And so that's why I quit them. The whole dopamine detox trend is a recent thing. And what the data shows is that like almost everything else about our bodies, we will regulate to a baseline, whether we spend all day meditating quietly in a forest or we spend all day at a rave partying. Now, you don't necessarily get all your dopamine at a rave party. And trust me, if I were at a rave partying, after about like 20 minutes, I'd be like, all right, well, that was cool, man. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with today. The exception to this is substances. Which is what makes them so powerful. They override our brain's built-in regulator. Yeah, which just kind of put me into a dead state. So what I think is this actually boils down to is two things: meaning and structure, which I do agree with, which is why a lot of this resonated with me here. Dopamine does have something to do with it because we do need dopamine to feel motivated and derive pleasure from things. But I really think that what is at the heart of the issue comes down to lack of meaning and lack of structure. And I completely agree. A lot of people don't have meaning. There's no meaning in their job. There's no meaning in their life. They just go through the motions. And I think like one of the big things that you have to do here is that you have to give your life some sort of meaning, right? And you have to put some sort of structure to it. And I think that having that time in the morning to just kind of detox and go through the things that you want to do helps kind of put a little bit of structure into your life and, you know, things like that. Going to your example of being a kid. Yes, video games were a special treat that you got after all of the chores and homework were done. But what else was different about your life? You had structure provided for you. That's true. School, parents, stuff like that. You had meaning provided for you. Your parents decided what you were going to do with your day. Your parents hopefully provided meaning to you by guiding you along as you matured and developed into who you are as a person. I know I did. You know, my dad and my mom were great at raising me. I think that I turned out pretty okay for the most part. So, you know, good thumbs up to them on that. You know, then you grow up and yeah, you can play video games whenever you want. So why does it feel bad to play them all day? Now, sometimes it doesn't feel bad to play them all day. I guess it really depends. Hey, dog, stop chewing on everything on the floor. Why does it feel bad that you chew on all of my things except for the toys that I bought you? Anyways, I'm going to provide structure and meaning for you, little dog, so that you don't have these problems and you're not sad and chewing on all of my things and stepping in your own water bottle. Sorry. Why does it feel bad to play them all day? When you were a kid, you would fantasize about growing up and being able to eat ice cream for breakfast and play video games all day. Being an adult, you have an implicit understanding that you are not living up to your potential if you do that. Now, that's true. And that's one of the things that I ran into when I was depressed a lot, is that I knew that what I was doing was not good. I knew that it wasn't helping me. I knew that I needed to do something different. I just didn't. And so I would just get more depressed because I knew how to fix the things that I needed to fix. I just didn't have the willpower to do it. And then I just spiraled, right? And let's be real, that's what a lot of people do. So it's rough. So let's see, you recognize that there's no significant meaning derived from it. So as adults, we're responsible for implementing our own structure and developing our own meaning in life. Then after those pieces are put into place, video games become fun. Now, and that's kind of, it elaborated on some of the things that I was thinking about and some of the things that like I kind of was like hinting at, is that you need to do these things. These are the structural things that you need to do. You need to get through all of the things that suck to make the good things feel better, right? If you just do these good things, the good things all the time, and you forget about these things, well, one, these things pile up and then they suck even more. But this over here then becomes the baseline and these are even worse. So, you know, you do have to structure that out, and that is one of the things, is just taking that time to do nothing, decompress, and get a game plan and get more motivated, right? I think that your time spent doing nothing is actually time spent metacognitively thinking about your life and how you spend your day. That's what I'm saying. It's not that your dopamine is getting reset, it's that you're living your life with intention and choosing a standard for yourself that is deeper, realer, and more fulfilling. And I would agree. I do still think that structuring things in terms of ladder scaling dopamine is still something that you want to like bring your dopamine levels down instead of always being up here at the high. Now, I'm not a scientist. I don't know anything about science. A lot of this is just feels. And I think that was a really good comment. And I think that a lot of it did have a lot to do with like the way I kind of thought about things, but maybe didn't put it into the correct like verbiage, terms, stuff like that. So it was a good one. It was a good one. Most of the comments in this comment section for that video have been fantastic. I just wanted to clown on a couple of those people. I don't understand why people watch like 5 seconds of a video and then immediately go to crap on it. It's such a weird thing to me, but that's it for this video. I've got to go edit this up, and I've got a couple other videos that I want to talk about. I want to talk about overstimulation, stimulation. I want to talk about, I'll have another video on like alarms. I want to talk about quite a few other things that have come up and just things that are helping me out in general. But I appreciate it. If you got bamboozled by the beginning of this and you thought that there were some actual allegations, you stuck around for 25 plus minutes, you have to subscribe at this point. And you have to go watch my other videos. I upload videos every single day of my weight loss journey, my mental health journey, all of that stuff. And I do really appreciate the channel has been going through some crazy growth lately. You know, all off of this one video, man. You guys have been doing some crazy work, but I appreciate it. As always, if you like this, like, favorite, subscribe, comment down below. If you dislike it, I don't care, because I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, homies. Peace out.